pops up.
Cool.
Office Super Fan Fest. So yeah, this is a convention that we're doing by Office fans for Office fans, and the actual convention was supposed to be taking place this weekend.
Right.
All right, so we're live now. We're
Hi.
waiting on some viewers to pop in.
Okay.
Mute my phone. There we go. All right, cool. So we are here with Kelen Coleman
on Facebook. Yes, see, everybody, we're doing a live right now. If you want to come on the Super Fan Fest Facebook.
Office Super Fan Festival.
I don't know why I do this so much. That needs to go.
Awesome.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I was promoting it so that more people will come in the room. How are you? Hi, Adam.
Hey, how's it going? So yeah, I've been pestering you forever on Instagram to jump on. So I'm glad that you're going to help us out today and do some Q&A. Oh, hang on a second. All right. I think you're back.
Muted?
Yeah, you became muted. There we go. I fixed it. So you're back.
You hear me anyway. No. We just met a few fans in the waiting chat room. That was cool. Who do we have? Kayla. Oh God, I can't remember everyone's name. It was
Emily, Brittany,
Michaela, her husband and baby. There we go.
Hi, Steve, the tech guy.
Yeah, Steve, the tech guy. Hi, Steve from Jersey.
So cool. So I have some questions already listed out, and we'll ask those. And I'm keeping an eye on the comment section as we go. So we'll take some fan questions. But just to start out, basic, how are you doing? How are you doing through the pandemic that's going on?
Geez, I am good. I think that for some reason, it seems like this last 2 weeks, this week and last week, were like the worst for anyone I talked to, friends and family wise. Everyone seemed to be having a really hard time. And then for some reason, I got very busy this week, and it helped so much just to stay busy. It's hard. It's an up and down roller coaster for everybody. And I think that things like this and just getting into like a hobby or binging a show or just little things you can do to escape kind of really help, because we're stuck in this kind of stagnant, unmoving phase right now that it really helps to get out of your own world. Like I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a super nerd. And I have a bunch of girls, and Dungeons and Dragons sponsors us, and we have a live stream campaign that goes on every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the Dungeons and Dragons Twitch channel. And it is us playing a campaign. So if you're into that, another way to escape. Yeah, it's just a weird time, and it's a roller coaster, but I'm okay right now. I'm glad I'm doing this. It makes people happy. It makes me happy to talk to you, answer questions.
Well, we're happy to have you. I know you brought up D&D. I had that written down actually because I was trying to come up with things to talk about. And I didn't realize you were a D&D player.
I will talk forever, so you're gonna be okay. Trust me.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. I was just like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love fantasy things. I love I'm also the reason I love like I didn't realize that I know The Office is a big deal, but I guess I didn't realize I was part of it for a while, or that I still kind of don't. Because to me, I'm just like me, and I'm just trying to get jobs, and trying to be, do all of that. And I don't realize that it's like a staple for a lot of people. And I need to kind of honor that more, I think, because it was one of my favorite jobs I've ever done, and really kind of helped push me on the map, I guess, a little bit in a bigger way. I mean, I was still serving at a bar while I was doing it, after I was doing it. I hadn't been able to I don't know if that's interesting to people, but I wasn't even just an actress yet. I was still working a second job. Even while I was on the Newsroom, which is an Aaron Sorkin show, I was for part of that was still working a second job, because, you can be on TV shows and make a lot of money one minute, but you got to add another job to keep, you live off of that until the next gig. So it's still, you're a working artist and actor, and you have to try. So, it's been really cool. And I am just like the people that love The Office. I get fanned out on things. And I'm obsessed with Disney. There you go. Say my phone case. I love all things like, Star Wars and all I'm into like the superhero movies but mostly like Disney, Harry Potter. I'm now a D&D person for the last like 5 years. Play with all girls, very cool actresses and stuff.
Right.
So I get the love of like a thing and getting really into it.
Yeah. So like we named ourselves the Office Super Fan Festival. There's a group called the Office Addicts, which is one of the first ones I jumped in. But I think it's got over 311,000 people in that group now.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool.
People just, you know what? It was I was a fan before I was on it. It's unfortunate because when I actually get on these shows, which I've been fortunate to be on some shows that I've been really into, it ruins it for me. Like I can't watch it after that because it's no longer like separate of myself. And I see the people for who the actors, not the characters. And then also it's like sad to me because I'm no longer there. So I'm gonna tell you, I haven't finished The Office.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't.
So how far are you into it? Do you know?
I think I always end right after my last episode because I'm sad that I'm not there. Think about it. It's hard, right? Like you love this world, then you're a part of it. Then all of a sudden, like I actually thought I was coming back for more.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't supposed to be on as many as I was on. I was like, originally had auditioned for Erin, the secretary, played by the lovely, oh my goodness. I can't anybody.
I'm blanking.
Ellie Kemper.
Ellie Kemper. There you go.
Ellie Kemper. Jeez, love her. She's so nice. And I had originally auditioned for that. And then I actually didn't audition for this character. Allison Jones and Ben Harris and their office, who are awesome at what they do. My goodness, one of my favorite casting offices. And I had been in for them. And I guess I got a call one day from my agents being like, they always like to mess with me. So they called and they were like, hey, so we got a call. How would you like to be Pam Beasley's best friend on The Office? And I was like, oh, that sounds, are you kidding? I mean, yeah, I'll audition for that. That sounds good. No, you are. And I was like, what? Like, you got the offer to do that. And I was like, excuse me. Flipped out. I couldn't believe it. I mean, and it was supposed to be like only the wedding, I think. And then it turned into more. And I was very, very shocked. I think the story I got, and this could be completely wrong, was something like they couldn't find the person, they couldn't find the right girl. And so they had remembered me from my tape. And then, or maybe they said, Allison, we need someone who, and then she said, this girl, watch this. And then they're like, yes, her. Something like that happened where they either remembered me or were reminded of me. And then, because it was actually, if you think about it, if you do the math, I don't know how much younger I am, but I was not the age of the character at all, like by a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
I think the character was supposed to be the same age as Pam, right? And if someone wants to do the math for the super fans out there, how old Pam was, because they were talking about how I was in college with this, because it's very funny. I get big fans who think that I'm her sister and fans who think I'm her cousin, and I'm actually supposed to be her best friend from college. And I played volleyball, I don't know, with her or without her. And because some of the things you don't even know until like they show up in the next episode. You're like, oh, I wish I'd known that to play that in the last episode so that I had that in my character. But, right. I didn't know. I was from Carbondale. It's backwards, but there you go. I did that as a joke. All these things you don't know, and then they show up and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just add that. But yeah, I was supposed to be her best friend from college. And at the time, I think I was only like 24, 25 years old, maybe 25. And I think she was like in her 30s, maybe
right.
mid, something like that. So I was shocked that no one ever brought that up. And maybe that's why people think I was supposed to be her sister. Her sister was my now friend, who we became friends on that job and at camp. And we've since worked together many times, but I always found that funny.
I think you're a mind reader because you've answered like 5 or 6 of my questions.
Listen, I told you I'd find. I get your accent by the end of this, and I can talk, and I will answer. I will literally just. I'm used to interviews. I don't know why. It's like one of my favorite things. And then they go, "Well, you've answered everything."
Right.
I'm like, good or
So
bad.
I was talking about that group. Pretty much anytime you're ever brought up in that office, super fan, what was it? Office Addicts.
Got it.
Yeah, every time you ever brought up, everybody, or at least a lot of the people, like thousands of people, are like, "Oh man, Dwight should have chosen Isabel."
Uh,
So
I see some people tag me in stuff on Instagram, and I don't see all of them, but sometimes I'll see them and I'll go and I'll like, if I'm bored, I'll like, it's always like a Isabel or Angela, who should, who's hotter, or who should he have been with? And I'm like this, and to me, it's just funny because
right,
I'm not Isabel. I'm sorry to tell you. And she's not Angela. And it's just funny because it's like so real, and that's okay. And I get it because it's very important to those people. So like the comments, some people are so mean and they forget that I'm actually like, it doesn't affect me because I know like, oh, well, I just did a
right.
crude gesture, but whatever. But they don't get that like I'm actually a person and that I could see this because people tag me. So people can write really awful things about me and my physical appearance, like as a woman, as a person, whatever. And I definitely, some of them I'll like F with, like I'll be like, yeah, I really should have done my hair that day or something like ridiculous. And then the ones that are nice, I'll just like heart them and I'll be like, oh, appreciate it or something. Just for fun though. It's not like I don't see them all. It's every now and then. I find those really, really funny. And that's very nice that if people do think I should have been with him, yeah.
Okay, so kind of leading off of that question,
Mm.
what is it as far as your character? What do you think that Isabel saw in Dwight that made her like Dwight so much?
Okay, so well, as an actress, when you like, it's funny because the response that usually people go, I can't believe. I mean, I've had people that like I made out with in high school that were my friend, like boyfriends or something that I kissed. Were like, I can't believe I kissed a girl, or that like hooked up with Dwight, and I'm like, I didn't. Number one, and two, he's not Dwight. No, but it's. I think that when you're an actor and you get something like that and like this character that he's playing, because Rain is definitely not his character, and the character he's playing is a certain way and supposed to be seen as like really off and like not necessarily the guy that you want to see with the girl, and he's the oddball, right?
Right.
When you have that character and like let's say you have to be the girl, you just think about that character and you go, well, what is it that she would see him, like that question, which is very good, and you pick out the things like he's really funny, maybe his oddness like attracted her because she either didn't get that it was off, like to her it was funny, like when he said things she just like okay, that's like I felt like a lot of my reactions when he would say things were just like I found when he was being serious and saying something that was like true, like if there's something about the horses or whatever,
Yeah.
like I found it funny. So something about their like, I don't know if that meant that I was, because it's so long ago, I don't know if that meant that Isabel, I don't think she was dumb. I think that she just kind of found him different and like
Entertaining
liked it.
almost.
Like, yeah, like charming. That
Right.
he was. I also kind of at one point thought maybe that I was at a wedding and I was just like lonely and maybe had been through a breakup or just sick of men and and just like really needed some confidence boosting, and then there he was,
Right.
and then she liked him. I kind of felt like in the beginning it was kind of like, all right, this is a guy who's paying me attention, and then it was like, and now he's blowing me off. And you know how sometimes girls, which I've been accused of, like the guy that's blowing them off and treating
The
them like
rejection.
shit, right? So that kind of, and then they kept running into each other. So I think it was his the things that some people think were odd, I think she dug, and she also just needed him at that time.
All right. So just a fun question to kind of flip it around. Why do
Sure.
you think Dwight should have picked Isabel over Angela?
Well, to be honest, I like, so I've been this character in a few shows of like the girl that gets in the way, Like another show I was on that I did this is The Newsroom, where I don't know if anyone out there seen that. It's an Eric Sorkin show that was on HBO, and I was the other girl. Again, But always when I come into that situation, like, yeah, I want them to be with me. But I know before I watched or before I was on the show, or if I had read scripts, that the character will end up with the girl they're supposed to end up with, because that's what fans want. That's like
Right.
when people plan the show, it's like this, okay, they get together, they get married, have a baby. If that happens, it's part of the, like, you can see the bigger picture.
Mhm.
So I always thought that they were going to end up with each other, because they were so odd that it just went and it matched.
Right.
Like, their eccentricities were a perfect match. So I wanted him to be with Angela. If I wasn't playing Isabel, I wonder if it would have been different.
Right.
Because to me, it's like me. This is hard to explain. It's me. So I'm like, I'm still not in the world. So I want the world to go forward as it should go. So that means Angela. But I guess if I took myself out and just watched my performance and go, okay, who do I actually want him to be with? Maybe it would have been Isabel. I mean, Angela was a pill.
Yeah.
Played brilliantly by Angela Kinsey, right?
Yep.
But it just, her character was a dick sometimes, right?
Yeah, she was a stickler.
I think that the things that he would have liked Isabel for, if he had gone with me instead, I feel like she was super chill. She was really down for his anything. Like, for some reason, this woman really dug him and wasn't difficult, wasn't very tightly wound, and liked whacking moles. Thought he was amazing at it. Like the test, like that one scene. I mean, I'm going to answer all your questions. I should have shut up. But I think it was like that he might have ended up with her maybe because, like, if he had thought about Isabel, because she was seemingly like a nice, pretty girl who dug him for who he was.
Right.
And was just nice.
Gotcha.
But
All
apparently
right,
she wasn't good in bed, so
you're good.
I heard that line and I was like, what? You don't even no. But I find that funny. But also, he wouldn't have done it again. Let's just say that wasn't that in the first episode or second? It was in Niagara 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
She's a dental hygienist from Carbondale, and she makes love like one. The reason I know it by heart is because people have repeated it to me so often.
Yeah.
And they go pass, and I'm like, well, I think that he went back. So if that was in those first episodes, he must have gone back for a reason. The character must have upgraded. He Dwight taught her some things.
Michaela, she was in here earlier. She wanted to know if any particular scenes that were really hard to get through without cracking up while you were filming.
You know what's funny? I don't know if a lot of people have said this, but I found it to be that people took it very seriously, and that it was less funny than watching it. That the people, usually you find this, that comedians or comic actors are very, like, some of them are quiet. If you've heard I'm not saying that anyone on this show is depressed, but there's a lot of comedians that have these internal battles, and they find catharsis in making people laugh or laughing themselves. And I think that even though the show was super fun and everything to make, I think that a lot of it, it's like really great actors wanting it to be funny, so they take it very seriously. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Well, apparently there's a blooper where Rain smacks my butt, and they laughed at that. I think it was one of my first important jobs, so I was trying to be very professional, and I was at the point still where most of the show is not improvised as far as what I witnessed. It's mostly all scripted, although there are some lines that people quote to me that actually are my improv, which is funny because we wouldn't really improvise. And then let's say, I think Rain would ask, or someone would ask oh, can we do one for us? Or can we do one more, or whatever, because they're in a position as series regulars who've been on the show for a long time to do that.
Right.
I was not in that position. At that point, especially being young, I didn't know that I could ask for another one or necessarily that was my place to. But if they did, and if I was in a scene with someone who improvised, I knew it was okay then to do it myself. So I kind of took my cues from the actors that, it was their show and had, if they gave me space I would take it. But like, otherwise I was there trying to, do my job. And I feel like, I mean, I can't remember because I just remember the whole thing being so like really loving it, that I'm not sure there was one scene in particular, but like stuff offset was really fun at the wedding at the chapel. Like we were all sitting out and like Ed was playing guitar and so was Creed and everyone was sitting around singing. And Ed knew that I was a singer, so he kept trying to make me sing, but I was like way too shy at that time. Like really fun things. And I used to hung out in Craig's trailer once and was having a really good conversation with him and someone else. I forget who it was that was there. Maybe, anyway, it was for me, I was so new that I was like trying to be a good actor.
Right. Now, you've brought up a lot of the cast members. Was there a particular cast member that you enjoyed working with?
Cast member I didn't really have scenes with tons of different people, right? So, I mean, I guess most of my stuff was with Rain, and I really like him. I think he's a really great actor. He's also very trained. I don't know if people know that. He went to like NYU. I think he went to NYU grad school for acting. He was on a great role on 6 Feet Under, where he plays this really dark, like he's had a lot of work that was before this. And he's, I really enjoyed working with him. And Steve is just like very nice. And he was like quiet at the beginning of meeting Steve. I don't know if other people, be interested to see what other people have said. And who else? I mean, Ed Helms, because it turns out we know a lot of, my dad's in bluegrass music, as I told you earlier, off of this. And we know a lot of similar people and musicians that like kids of musicians that my dad played with that are now musicians and like playing with Ed. And so we had a lot to talk about. Brian Baumgartner was really sweet, and Stanley was really, I mean, everyone was so nice.
We had Kim Ferry on earlier. She was the crew member, the hairstylist, and she said she remembered you because of your long, pretty hair. So long, pretty dark hair. So
that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her. I remember some of the hair makeup. I remember the costume wardrobe lady was so nice. Because I'm like regular girl. I'm not like this Hollywood stick figure. I think that's hopefully going out the door, which is good. And I remember the costume lady was like really sweet and was telling me like to be proud of my body. And then I had like a Rita Hayworth body, and I was like, oh, but whatever. Like she was very, very sweet. And who else? God, there's so many people. BJ. I remember one time I ended up working with Mindy after this on Mindy's project. I ended up playing one of Mindy's best friends for 5 episodes on her show, which was great. I did audition for, oddly, Anna Camp's role, who I met, isn't that funny, on The Office. Anna Camp ended up playing best friend in the pilot, which I also auditioned for. And then I guess they remembered me, so they brought me back for this other role, but like a secretary in the office, Mindy's office. And then I didn't get that. And then I got a straight offer, weirdly, like this, different casting people, I think even, to play this other character, Alex, who ended up being in the show for 5 episodes. So Mindy, I remember after there was like, this is behind the scenes knowledge, I guess. There was a scene where in the rehearsal dinner, it says I'm giving a speech, and like Dwight and Michael are talking about who I am, and they're saying the whole like college volleyball player, blah blah blah, and Dwight's saying the record, and they're like, because they're scouting out girls, and it just said like in the script she gives a speech, and then it says has their dialogue, but they like kind of threw it at me. I forget who was directing, and they were like, hey, can you like give a speech? And they're like, do you want us to we'll write you something, and then are you okay with doing that? And I'm like, oh, you don't need to. And I mean, I'm just this young girl who like wants to like please them and whatever. And I'm like, they said, what? I'm like, I can do it. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, okay. All right. Just okay. And then I had forgot, hadn't seen it in a while for some reason. And so I was like, oh, what's that guy's name? From who did Pam date before? What was it? Bob? Was it Bob? Bob? What was it? What was her boy? It was Bob,
There's
right?
Roy.
Roy. Three
Yeah.
letters. See, look, I haven't seen it in forever. So Roy. So who's actually in a group of friends of mine now. He's in a group of friends of mine that I see him at Christmas parties, and I don't know if we've ever said like we were both on The Office. I don't know if we have. Anyway, so I like quickly found out information, and then I was like, okay. And then they rolled the tape, and they rolled on me for a while, and I gave this toast for my best friend at her wedding, and I just improvised the entire thing. And I even said something about like, thank gosh it's not that other guy, and you finally found whatever. And I gave this, and then afterwards they cut, and they came up to me, they were like, that was, I don't know, they would probably never remember this. They're like, that was amazing. I could never, BJ
awesome.
was like, I could never have done that. I would have been terrified. They were both like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that in so long. And I think they clapped for me after, because people were like, what?
That's cool.
I don't know why. I didn't think it was that special, but I guess maybe people don't do that. But it was very very sweet of them to acknowledge that. And then there's lots of other good, fun little moments. I also stole. I didn't steal. I was allowed to take them, but I have on the table at the rehearsal dinner, there were like place cards, and there were like soaps that looked like, I guess you could take them for, I don't know why they would be soaps, but they looked like little things that guests would take. Right. So I actually was cleaning out one of the rooms, I think it was in my bathroom, and I found two of the soaps, and they're both still like in the packaging.
That's cool.
And yeah, and then also I have, do you want me to get it? Hold on.
Yeah.
You'll hear me. It's sitting in my room. I took this from my table. It's
very cool.
Place card from the rehearsal dinner. And then I don't know, I shouldn't have given this to him, because it's probably maybe worth something one day, but my brother for Christmas, he has a frame with Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute.
Oh, wow.
What other sister could give you that, huh? So
that's a good gift.
He was like, what? It's in his office. It's like just 2 place cards from the wedding that he has. I never think to do stuff like that. And at the time when I did it, I was like, it's a piece of paper that a set, which it is. It's a piece of paper that a set person was like making place cards that no one would think of. But now, how cool is it that I have that? I love stuff like that, like little tiny memories that you can just keep.
One of these, I have some props from the show.
You do?
This pig nose is from season 9. Oh, move it. So you haven't seen that. Mm-mm. You may have seen the Princess Unicorn. Do you remember that, when Dwight buys up all the Princess Unicorn dolls and resells them around Christmas?
When was that? That sounds. See, I should also say this. It's not that I'm forgetting The Office. I can watch anything and forget it. I don't know what that is. I memorize things for a living, basically. Like, it's one of the things that you have to do in my job. But when I can watch movies and TV over and over, like, I've seen some movies so many times, I don't know. And then I'll remember it as I go. But it's like, it's kind of a good thing, because I can rewatch and be like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Weird.
So that's one of my office prop. Like,
did you have to purchase that for a lot of money?
Yes. My wallet.
I'm an idiot. I should be taking things from every set.
Do it. Movie props are a big thing.
What a dummy. I mean, I'm trying to look around. I have like a picture that they gave us at the wrap of like a Mindy episode. And then I have like a Big Little Lies like cast thing. And then I have a newsroom cast thing. But those are like things I stole from the when I say stole, like they were like, take what you want from the cast parties or the premieres. And it's like, says newsroom cast. It was from the table. And then stuff like that. They don't give you costumes.
Right.
I look back and I see how my hair was like in a jersey poof and stuff. And I'm like, wow, I would never let them do that to me anymore. And I was wearing my own necklace, I remember. Here's some fun things. So in the episode Happy Hour, where we're walking down the thing, and he's like asking me questions and like grilling me on how, like, your father,
Right.
what are your brother? Do you have any brothers? Are you a vegetarian? All that. That was like the last take. I believe that was an mostly improvised scene. I think like the thing with do you have any brothers? Yeah, one's a policeman, one's a fireman, or something like that. That was a line. And then he randomly said blood type. And I was like, ugh. And so I said my blood type, O negative, universal donor, because I am. That's me. I am.
Yeah.
And then he went, universal donor. And then also he asked me if I was a vegetarian, which was not a line. And I said, no, I like meat. I made it sexual.
Right.
So those are my lines.
Oh, those are perfect.
Yeah. Well, because you have to he was doing it. So I was like, okay, what am I going to say? Thank God it worked.
Right.
Yeah, because if it didn't, it wouldn't be in the show.
Right. Yeah, those were great lines too. This Princess Unicorn. Are you very familiar with Funko Pops, the collectibles?
Yeah, I wish I had one.
They just released a Dwight with a Princess Unicorn as a Funko Pop, and then people in the comment sections are now saying that they need an Isabel Funko Pop. So that would be cool.
I would love that. I think so. There's some Funko Pop. Is that you as well? Has been writing me.
Oh no, that's another group. Yeah.
OfficeFunkoPops.com, but they like you because they posted about y'all.
Yeah, they're cool guys.
So they the ones. So do they work with Funko Pop, or do they only do they specially make ones that are Office, or what?
And I think they are kind of like us. They're like Office fans, and they like specialize in like the Office Pop Funkos.
I would love if they did one of Isabel. That would be fun.
Somebody made a custom Hidetoshi. I don't know if you're familiar with his character. He's the Japanese warehouse worker, and he does like the steady hand. Somebody made a custom of him, so somebody should make a custom Isabel.
That would be so cool. The thing, what's really funny is that also they put me in these giant heels, and I think that with Rain was the only time I've been able to I'm tall, but I'm not as tall as him. But if it looks like we're the same height or I'm so much taller than Angela, it's because they put me in really tall shoes and I'm already so tall. So I remember that could be something in the Funko. I could have just be super tall.
And the hairstyle.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that the whole time. I think that was just one episode. Oh no, I had kind of had it in the wedding. Another fun fact. The wedding dance we created. So it said, these people go down the aisle together, and it says certain things like Brian when he gets his foot and he has Kleenex for shoes, and then he falls over and hits the candelabra. Like certain things were written out, and who comes down and what the action is. So ours was like saying that we come down, and then he kicks me he does a ninja move and kicks me in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to meet with a choreographer, everybody separately, at Sportsman's Lodge in LA. There's this old hotel thing. They're actually redoing it right now. That's where we shot the one part of it. I don't know when. Oh, when I came out of the room, and some other scene. So we came up with our thing, and I used to dance, and we had a choreographer who's like, see what you would do, what your characters would do, and so we kind of did it together. And then I remember for the kick, we didn't have someone help us. I was like, oh no, I've done lots of physical comedy, again, trying to be the good little actress.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. So we did it. And then the stunt coordinator then came and said, okay, let me just see what you have. And we did it. And he was like, yeah, maybe just do it even more exaggerated, but that's it. We were like, great. I wish I could have I haven't seen when they got together and did the Office dance. And it makes sense that I wasn't asked to do it because I haven't talked to any of them in a very long time. For reason of we're not, we haven't worked together again. And I would have done it. I would have loved to do it, but I guess it makes sense that they didn't have guest stars.
You can do your Office dance now if you want to.
I will come back for that, and I will play the music, and I'll do it. I think, wasn't it Rain's wife wearing a wig? I think because I got people writing me going, "Oh my gosh, you did this! Wait, it couldn't have been you because you don't live with Rain." It was.
I was thinking the episode. You're talking about on the Good News channel.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about I wish that I had been able to do that. I would have done it with
right.
Them,
Yeah.
But it makes sense that they didn't because I'm not it was the regulars and that was it.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was on
I
the
think, well, it had to have been Rain's wife because I think he was, it's in quarantine. So
right.
it was with him in his quarantine. So I think it was his wife wearing a wig, which is hilarious.
So my
I haven't
next
watched.
question I had written down during the dance sequence, were your dance moves choreographed or were they your personal dance moves? How many takes how many takes did it take to get the face kick down? So I think
The
we just
face,
answered that one.
I think the face kick wasn't the thing that was the. I think we did. How many times did we go down? It was really fun because we were all doing it, and we weren't. It was like they put on music. And they're like, okay, now, and then someone was going. Like we all did it as one thing. We did it a bunch of times. I would say 3 to 6 times, and the face kick was not like a special setup. I don't believe. It was just like we did it the same way every time.
Right.
Maybe only 3 times, but it was pretty easy. I mean, I never got actually kicked, so that's good
That is good.
that I can remember. Maybe I did and I blocked it from my memory. It was just really fun. I loved it. What else you
Okay.
got? I've just been talking like an asshole.
No, no, you're fine. Just to bring in the D&D stuff a little bit. All right. So if you're going to place, we'll just pick a few. Okay. We'll say Isabel, I'll just say Rain, Isabel, Dwight, and Michael. If you're going to place them as Dungeons and Dragons characters, what would they be?
Like race and class would they
Yes,
be?
race and
Oh,
class.
oh. I mean, I guess I'm gonna say not what would they be, but what would they pick? I think that Michael Scott would pick something like very like he would pick something either giant, like he'd want to be the most destructive, like he'd pick like a barbarian orc or something huge and Goliath, or he'd be something like a gnome, like a gnome. I'm actually playing a gnome wizard right now. That for people who don't get D&D, I'm sorry, sounds really ridiculous, but it is really fun. He'd be, and then maybe Dwight would be the big giant character, and then
Right.
Michael would pick the funny thing. Like I think it would be
Like a
hilarious if
bard.
like a female or like a female like a spread like a pixie. And then he's like, what, they have powers? Like he would be thinking it was so good, and then it turns out it wasn't.
That would be a great episode, actually, in retrospect, if
That
they'd have done
would.
a.
Them playing D&D would be hilarious. It's so becoming such a popular thing now. It's resurged, and people, because I think it had a stigma before for a long
Mm,
time about being so nerdy and so like also mainly guys playing. I never was asked to play when I was younger. I didn't know what it was, and then with the resurgence of it in like media with Stranger Things, et cetera, et cetera.
right.
I think people are like, oh, that looks really fun because it's make believe. It's just basically you get to sit around and drink with your friends and or imbibe of coffees and orange juices if you like, and pretend to be like fantastical characters, and then you like roll some dice and they basically tell you what you can and can't do, and that the whole game is led by one person called a dungeon master who like leads you through this fantasy campaign where you get to fight and etc. It's so fun. And if anyone is interested in our all girl group of like actresses and singers and whatever, we have a campaign going now live 10 a.m. on the D&D Twitch channel. And our first one just aired on Wednesday, but you can watch it on the D&D YouTube. They've just posted it. Our group is called Girls Guts Glory.
Yes.
So ridiculous. But it's
A
so fun.
D&D, another thing. Have you ever watched Harmon Quest?
No, I think are one of my girls on Herman Quest or guest starred on it?
I'm
What
not
is
sure.
it? It's a group.
It's pretty much they do a campaign and it's animated like into a cartoon, and it's a really funny series.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I've heard there's talks of doing a D&D movie that Paramount, I think, owns. And I would love to do that. That would be awesome. I mean, there's a lot of actors that play now. It's like Joe Manganiello and Deborah Ann Wall from True Blood and Matthew Lillard. There's a bunch of people that are like being like, yeah, I've been playing for years, and they have live streams and etc. it's a good community. It's honestly a very similar community to the Office community because it's people who love something that is like just a common love of one thing that's like a world of its own.
Right.
Even though this is a Scranton, it's apparently a world of its own.
Right. So yeah, definitely check out Harmon Quest because it's like a group of comedians and it's a cartoon and you can't really go wrong with that mixed with D and D. So
I wonder if I know someone that's in it. I thought my friend Rachel had been talking about it, but I'll check it out. Harmon Quest.
All right. So I think we're starting to transfer over into some non-office questions. You've mentioned superhero, Star Wars, and all that kind of stuff. Which superhero or villain would you be in a feature film if you had to choose?
I mean, I feel like Wonder Woman would have been great. I feel like I'm very tall. I know that Gal Gadot is that how you actually say her name? Even though people say Gal Gadot. She's amazing. It would have been cool to be one of her like Amazonian sisters. Now we're talking real life, but I would have loved to. That would be great. I was told I'd be a great She-Hulk, and when I first heard that, I was like, that is offensive. But then I realized that She-Hulk is actually, if you look at like the cartoon, the picture, she's actually like a normal, like attractive woman, and then she gets just like really curved, like really not. She doesn't Hulk out as big as Hulk,
right?
She gets like way more muscles, like where she could be in the WWE. But she's not like that, like giant, massive Hulk. And she's supposed to be super funny. I used to be told that I'd be a great She-Hulk or a great Elektra. And then they've gone and made those. I think they're making a She-Hulk with Allison Brie.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I would have loved She-Hulk. I would have loved Elektra. I would have loved Jessica Jones. I mean, there's a lot of great ones. Wonder Woman's the epitome of them all, though.
Right. So yeah, any of those could work well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Suggestions.
A voice acting question that we had earlier.
Yeah, I love doing that.
Like whenever you do voice acting, do you get to interact with any of the main cast members very much, or usually on your own? And their example was like when you were on BoJack Horseman, did you get to meet and talk with Aaron Paul or Will Arnett much, or how does that work?
I got to go. I think that started out with me going to table reads, like the casting director, who's really great. I don't know if she's still doing it anymore, but Linda, she's doing some shows. I don't know if she's still on BoJack. Linda LaMontagne, she's awesome, and she is very good at what she does. And she had me come in to read some characters in a table read. So I think I might have been cast already, but she has a lot of like these great actors who are not necessarily like super A-list yet, come in to do a bunch of little characters. And that happened for me on American Dad, Family Guy, and BoJack. And I did get to go to a few table reads with the casts of BoJack. The only interaction I had with Will Arnett is afterwards he went, "You're really funny," and it was like, "You're really funny," and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And Allison Brie, she'd just gotten engaged. So I saw her, like her gorgeous ring. And then Aaron Paul was not there. He was always on the phone.
He's probably talking to Walter White.
Yeah. He was on the phone, and Amy Sedaris was on the phone. But I didn't have, talk to Allison, and I did talk to Will very briefly. But when you do those things, you go into an office or a studio or whatever, and you go into the booth, and you basically record something for 15 to 30 minutes and then leave, and you can go in your pajamas. It's the best job, and I cannot wait till I get a series where I get to do that all the time, because I've been so close so many times. But for now, it's just like I was this close apparently from being in Frozen 1 and 2.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, because I
particular role.
Huh?
Was there a particular role that you were almost?
First time I weirdly went out for Elsa, which is crazy because I could not have sang those notes. So I don't know if I was actually how close I was to, maybe it was a different role they were considering, but I went in like you go in and then you go to the next round. So I went into producers and with in the studio in Disney with earphones, and earphones, of course, during them. You're singing, and then you work with an accompanist, and then you work with a director and you do the scene. I did that for that one, and I did it for the second one that just happened. I went in for a role called Honey Marin, but it was all NDA, so that's all I knew. And I did the whole thing again, and then I had to wait. Was told I was on a short list, blah blah blah, and you just wait and wait and wait. 2 months, and then I found out I was down to the final few people, and then I didn't get it. But like, if you knew how many times that happens with
Right.
like some of these roles, you'd be like that you found out a list of people who almost were that character. It would be mind-boggling to people if they were like, that person almost played that. Oh my gosh.
I think
It's a weird world.
I think Bob. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Bob Odenkirk. Is that how you say his name?
Bob Odenkirk.
Odenkirk. Yeah, he was almost Michael Scott apparently. So, which he showed back up in like season 9, I believe, as like another like sleazy boss kind of role.
Yeah,
But
like kind of like I did. Like, imagine if I had been Aaron, and then
right.
if but Ellie's so great. She always, of course, should have been Aaron, but I mean, it should have been, yeah. But it's funny to think about, like, what if that had happened, and then who would have been Isabel, and then who would have,
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny, like even Back to the Future. It was like Eric Stoltz was the original. I don't know if you know who Eric Stoltz is, an '80s actor who's actually now a great TV director, but he was the original Marty McFly.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they were making the movie and they took him out and put in Michael J. Fox.
Right.
Crazy. Like the Jennifer got replaced after the first movie. How crazy. And they were just like, well, it's just someone different. We're just not going to tell them.
Where they haven't been releasing new films lately. We went and watched Back to the Future 2 at the movie theater again. So that was cool to see that in the movies.
You got to go to a movie theater recently?
Yeah, they like take people's temperature when you go in, and you have to like space out so far. But yeah, it was cool to see that movie in the theater. Something I never think that would happen.
Like a triple header with all the Back to the Futures in a row at the Beverly Boulevard in LA, and it was a lot of Back to the Future, but it was good. I mean, it was a lot. I wonder if they ever have like office marathons or something where you can go and like this week is all of season 1 in a row, or
at a theater.
Yeah, well, not somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure somewhere does it, but all right. So I think that's almost all the stuff that I had written down. I'm going to try to go back through now and read some
questions.
Let me see if I can grab some of these questions that people asked earlier.
Tell me when you got one, and I'll kill time by just being talkative. How was your quarantine, everyone? Hope you're doing well. This is a picture of apparently Old Town Carbondale.
There's lots of people saying how much they love you and appreciate you being here. And
oh, of course, dude. This is really nice. I wish, honestly, the only thing that can make this better if it was like all the people seeing their faces, because it's really cool to. I would love to, like, maybe we can do like a virtual fan fest or like people. I don't want to say like have like rooms and they have to like reserve to come in to talk to certain people. Oh, I don't know how that works, but I love to hear. I mean, because listen, I'm a fan as well of like so many things, and if I know how it feels to like finally get to talk to someone. I've been on shows where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to work with that person. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like I was freaking out when I was like, I'm going to be on The Office. Are you kidding me? I'm going to meet Steve Carell. I'm going to meet Rainn Wilson. Oh my God. And like, the bad thing is you have to keep your chill when you're working with people, and you have to like, you're like, now you're on their level, right? You're part of the team. Like you're part of what makes this world. So you can't go in there and be like fangirling. So I had to chill the hell out and keep it to myself. And I was a young girl. I was like just trying to like do a great job and get to the next place in my career and not work at that bar anymore. And you have to hold it all back. So I know how cool it is to hear about things. Like I wish there was stuff that I could, write in and ask and, find out the behind the scenes and talk to people. It's just a really cool thing, especially now when people want to get out of their lives and just have fun. Definitely. I mean, I watch things on YouTube. I watch like the actors talk to actors and things like that. I wish those were live and you can ask questions, but I'd have to like pretend it wasn't me.
All right. So we have one, any upcoming projects? Do you have anything like on the back burner?
Yeah. So I just had 2 movies come out. and I have one coming out. So one is called, this is hard. Okay. One is called A Typical Wednesday, and it is written, directed, produced, starred by my friend Jay Lee, who plays Lamar on The Orville. There's a lot of great people in it. Emmy Lampman Raver, who's from Hamilton, but also from Umbrella Academy. And she was just announced she's taking over Christabel's part of, I'm not plugging her. There you go, Emmy. On Central Park. She's in it as well. Brisha Webb, Seth Green. Like, it's a very cute indie. I play like a neurotic mom. There's that. So that's atypical, but one word, Atypical Wednesday. And I think you can rent that on Prime and all those things. And then there's one called The Bellman, which is a very bro-y comedy, kind of like absurdist in a way, kind of like a Groundhog. I don't know, not Groundhog Day. What was it? Caddyshack, Meatballs way. If you were into like, ridiculous like stuff like big, like that campy humor. And then there's a really cute one called Breaking Them Up, which is we're supposed to be doing festivals right now, but it's not currently because of all of this. But it's reverse Parent Trap is how I describe it. It's like our kid, I play a kid or a mom who got pregnant when she was like 16. So we have a 15-year-old or something like that. And what happens? He realizes we're not happy. He's not happy. So in order for us to be happy, he tries to break his parents up. So it's like reverse Parent Trap where they try to get the parents back together. So that will come out at some point. I'll always put up stuff on my Instagram. But yeah, so Atypical Wednesday, you can see now. The Bellman, you can see now. And D&D, like live stream, it's streaming every 10 a.m. Wednesdays on twitch.tv/D&D Wednesdays at 10 a.m. But yeah, I'm on Instagram at Kelen Coleman.
You brought up Instagram, so I'm going to pull this up. This is a post that you had done a while back.
Oh shit.
Let's see if you can explain it to everybody real quick. I got a big laugh out of it. All right, here we go. I'm going to try to.
Oh! Well, that's the behind the scenes one even.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I'll tell you what that is. That is the ALS challenge that I was on a show called The McCarthys at the time. And I'm still going. Well, he waterboarded me, that guy. So I was in a show called McCarthy's on CBS. It was a multi-camera sitcom. If for those of you who've only known me from The Office, I've done like a ton of stuff. IMDb that bitch and look it all up. So I was on the sitcom with like Laurie Metcalf, Jackie from Roseanne, and Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block, and Tyler Ritter, who's John Ritter's son, like all these amazing people. And while on one of our days off, I was like, oh, I have to do this ALS challenge. I was nominated. I need to do it. So I said, okay, I have an idea. I'm going to do Flashdance. If you've ever seen the movie Flashdance, where she, at the end, she's like a stripper who's also like a wielder by day, Jennifer Beals. And at the end, she like does this whole dance or in the movie at some point. And then she gets on a chair and does this pose and she pulls a string and this bucket of water like falls on her and soaks her. And I'm like, this is hilarious. I want to do this for ALS because, I'm not just going to pour a bucket of water in my head. I have to make it funny.
That's a genius way to do it and make it original.
Thank you.
Yeah.
However, so I tell them, okay, I was like, oh, I don't want to bother you. But I told my castmates, actually, Joey McIntyre and Tyler Ritter, I told them the idea. They're like, you have to do it. You have to do it. I'll help you. They really wanted them to see me do it because they knew it would be like, I'd probably do something wrong to myself. And like, it would be funny. So I told them, I said, okay, I told the crafty, I was like, I just need a bucket of ice water, a really freezing water. And I need like a string that we're going to pretend is the thing. And then a guy on a ladder with the bucket. And then I go like this. Yeah. And I come out and they're like, okay, when do you want to do it? I'm like, after our run through. So we, do the whole run through for the studio or the network or whatever, because sitcoms are done a little different. because it's weird. I do drama sitcom and single cam, and so it's a different way of doing a show, and it's kind of like you put on a mini performance at the end, and then at the end of the day, and then you get notes in for the next day. So I get outside, and then okay, I asked for a bucket, a string, and a guy in a ladder. There is a forklift with a guy with a bucket, a backdrop, a whole like pulley system, like connected to the thing that's not a real pulley system. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess we're doing this. So I put on a leotard and like scrunchy socks and my old jazz shoes. Where are those now? And
I'll play it again just while you're talking.
Yep, there you go. And this is the behind the scenes one. So this isn't the real one. This is the behind the scenes, because the behind the scenes, what happened, I posted later because how funny it was, because basically if you see the real one, if you go back and find that one, it's like a close up of my face where I'm just like, and then it zooms out and I'm doing the dance of like flash dance, and I go up to the chair and then I pull it, and then the guy somehow didn't slowly pour it out. He dumped the whole thing and smacked me right in the face with water, where it went up my nose and I couldn't breathe. And I was like, that was not awesome. And then people just started hysterically laughing, because it used to be on Instagram when it was only like a few seconds. How long was it? 6 seconds?
Yeah, I'm not for sure.
Or 15, whatever it was. It was so short, so we had to get it in, and we only had one take, because then I'd be all wet. So in one take we had to use it, and then he waterboarded me, and then everyone's hysterically laughing, like, you have to see it. So we're all watching it. So that was the take of like what happens off the camera on the side of someone recording me doing it, making it, and then what happened after. It was so painful. It was so. But what's that guy's name? Famous choreographer who did like Hairspray and did all these famous, he's a director, Mark Shaman, maybe. He saw it and he posted it, and he was like, this is the best. He's like, this is how you do ALS. And he posted it, which was really fun. So I felt like, thank goodness I did something good.
Definitely. Yeah, that was creative.
I try to put funny stuff. Listen, I try, like right now is a weird time. So I will say, like, on Instagram, yes, I'm going to be posting like I'm political and stuff like that. We're not going to talk about that now, because I am also a person, right? And I have my own thoughts and I have my own ideas and etc. But I do post mostly and usually a lot of funny things, my life, my experiences, my trips. Right now is a weird time, so people are trying to like do both. Mm-hmm. And just, if you definitely come and follow and hang out. If you don't like some things, just don't look at them or don't read them, or just, you gotta just, like, we're all people. We're all trying to get by in this weird time as best we can and do whatever we can do. So there are going to be a lot of funny, amusing things, just like there always was. Let me tell you, I make a fool of myself a lot. I think it's fun. I think you have to make people laugh. That's not all I'm about. Obviously, I also do drama, but I do think
just like that.
Yeah, just like that. But I do like, another thing you can watch. So I did an arc on How to Get Away with Murder, and season 6, which I'm in I think I'm in 6 episodes, just came on Netflix. So How to Get Away with Murder, I play one of the character's sisters, and I show up, so you can watch season 6, How to Get Away with Murder, is now on Netflix. So there you go. Another thing you can watch. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. But yeah, just it's, I think comedy is really important right now. Like, to go back to what we talked about at the beginning, it's really important for us to escape our lives. And I think The Office is great because it provides that outlet for people to get into this wacky world that we also sort of can relate to, because it's a workplace and people have all had jobs, and we've all had those coworkers who are great and then who are weird and then who you just wish would leave you alone. But they did it in such a great way. Do you like the British Office?
I've watched it once. Probably watched the U.S. version over 30 times, but and that's small numbers compared to some people. But
maybe what I should do is I should rewatch it from the beginning, or I should start it from where I left off. And then I should come back and do a thing and be like, and you're going to be like, what did you think? And I'll be
Exactly,
like, well,
yeah.
here's the story. Doesn't Dwight end up with not Angela?
That's called a spoiler, and I don't do those. So
But
you
I
have
think
to
he ends
you
up
have
with
to
my
watch.
friend Nora. I think he ends up with my friend Nora Fitzpatrick. Kirkpatrick. Oh my God.
I can spoil it for you if you want me to. Do you want me to spoil
Yeah,
it?
spoiler alert, because I already was
Okay.
told.
If anybody's watching and has not seen it yet, this is
Oh
your
God.
warning. So yes, he
Okay,
ends up.
give it a warning. Everyone cover your ears. He's spoiling the end. So 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, he ends up with Angela.
Oh,
So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. But
for people covering their ears. I can't
Isabel.
believe it. Okay, well, yeah. So, but my friend Nora Kirkpatrick, who's now like directing and making stuff, she plays the girl in the Beet Farm, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Really gorgeous blonde. Let me see if I can find a picture of her. She's mostly doing a lot of directing now.
Is she the one that like she crushed the crow's beak or something?
Her.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Oh my God, gorgeous. One of the nicest people ever. I haven't talked to her in so long. And she's like directing and making her own shows now. And she's like Superwoman. I have to talk to her soon. And she also, it's funny because I have a lot of friends that have been on The Office that I didn't know then, or that I didn't know were on The Office. What's it called? She was also in that band, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Gotcha.
She played accordion.
I think she plays accordion in the episode that she's in.
Oh, they probably found out and used it. Oh, you know who else was really lovely to me was, and I haven't talked to him in forever. Oh God, what's his name? I'm really having a brain fart. I feel like since quarantine, it's like a constant brain fart. He was in also Sex and the City as the shoe guy, as the foot guy, the shoe salesman. Women out there will know who I'm talking about. I think he's he's not Mose. He's his cousin or his brother. Dwight's cousin or brother.
His cousin is Mose. Oh, okay. Are you talking about? Okay, I think I know Jeb Shroot is who he plays. Maybe he has a brother that shows up in the last season.
Hold on, let me look it up because he's a lovely guy. And we were friends, and now I can't think of anyone's name for some reason. I'm a little worried. Let's be honest. No, not Thomas Middleditch. Oh God. Let me see. Dwight. Friends. Oh God, what is his name? Why can't I think of it?
He's got several friends.
Oh, my friend Matt Jones was on the show. Matt Jones is a friend of mine. He played one of. I didn't know that. I just saw his face. So I've been in a movie with Matt where I play his love interest. He wrote and directed a movie called The Night Is Young, and it's me, Eloise Mumford, him. It's a cute like indie. But what is it? Does anyone know who I'm talking about? I wish I could see what you say right now.
Somebody said Thomas
No, not Thomas.
Middleditch, but I don't think that was.
Oh, I know what to do. Hold on. Shoe, foot guy, Sex and the City.
Now be careful. That could bring up some bad stuff.
Okay, here he is. Hold on. What is his name though? In real life. Okay, he's this guy. Well, you can't see him. This guy.
Okay. Is he the one?
Instagram support. I don't know why they're writing me, but you just saw that. Okay, who? Does anyone know? Oh, here he is. Here he is in the office. Rolf.
Rolf
is my best friend.
Yeah, Rolf was in a few episodes. So yeah.
He was James Urbaniak. I love that guy. I haven't seen him forever. James Urbaniak is wonderful. It's Sam. I'm having, you guys, I'm worried about my brain. Has anyone else been having a problem where you can't?
I was gonna say, I think that's everybody during this time period, like the mental stress of all this.
Sam, he's red hair and he was in the Sam Daly. Tim Daly, we became friends. I don't know when we became friends. Was it because of The Office or not? But he's a warehouse guy. He's Tim Daly, the actor's son, and he's a great actor without being Tim's son. He would probably do this as well.
Cool.
Do you know him? He was a warehouse guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. He played. I think Oscar liked him, like in one of the episodes.
I
Gil?
remember that.
Or no, it wasn't Gil.
I forget how we became friends, but he's a lovely guy, and he would probably definitely
Matt,
do this.
I think, from Warehouse.
Yeah, and his dad is Tim Daly, who was on Wings and Madam Secretary, and really famous father, you know. But he's a great actor in his own. See,
Very
that's
cool.
his dad. You recognize him?
I told the people in the comments one last question, and the first one that came through was celebrity crush. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh shit. Oh no, this is horrible. Celebrity crush.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, who doesn't love Ryan Gosling? He's happily married or not married, partnered, and has kids. But like Ryan Gosling, I mean, Noah in The Notebook. So I guess that's a safe one I could go with. I also, anyone, I'm sure the women here have watched Outlander. Sam Heughan ain't bad, but he's friends with my friend, so I shouldn't say that. I don't know the man, but I'm sure the weird thing is when you meet people, it's never the person. Some people are as great as you want them to be. Like
Right.
You meet them and you're like, oh, thank God. Like I just had, I was talking about this last night. I did an interview for Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but the guy knows Bobby Moynihan, and my last television show, Me, Myself, and I did Bobby Moynihan, and Bobby's like the nicest guy. He's exactly how nice you want him to be. His laugh just fills you with joy. So people are like that, but they're never their characters, right? Mm-hmm. They can be close to it. So whenever there's people that I've met and I've been like, oh wow, he is so handsome. And then you meet them and you're like, oh gosh, you ruined it for me. Or just that you meet them and you're not attracted to them because their personality doesn't match what you want it to be. So keep in mind, I say this, but you never know how someone will be in real life. But I will go with a Ryan Gosling. Congratulations on your parenthood. And I guess the guy from Outlander, even though my friends know him, so I hope he never hears this.
Gotcha. All right, so now everyone knows. Ryan Gosling knows, so he'll probably send you a message later.
Yeah, he's really gonna leave Eva Mendes for me.
He's in the comment section, like jumping for joy right now.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Eva Mendes, she's also great, really hot. So who knows?
I think she's watching too. So you just spoiled that.
Well, it's gonna be a whole. It's 2020. You never know.
They're gonna have to duel over you. So.
This is fun. Thank you so much. I hope that it's so weird because I have no idea if people are enjoying this or if I'm answering the questions or anything. I mean, I should have sort of like a different, like a page set up, but if people write me on Instagram, I try to get through and write people back. So if you have other questions or send them to Adam and maybe we'll do this again and I won't talk as much. I hope I didn't talk the entire time.
No, that's been great.
I mean, I guess I'm trying to get the info out.
Exactly. And like I said, you read my mind on, I'd say, at least half these questions. Good. So,
but I didn't let you ask them, which is not very nice.
It's better when I don't have to ask them.
So. Okay, good. I was just so excited to tell people things, This is my first one I've probably done. I mean, I've been asked questions about the office, but I think this is the first official office Q&A that I've done. So there you go.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have to find out when it is. Lackawanna County is still pretty locked down right now, which is where Scranton is. But hopefully we can try to work something out where you can show up to the fest and hang out and meet people in person. And I'm sure everybody'd love to see you. So
that would be cool. Yeah, I mean, hopefully life will go back to somewhat of a normal situation soon, and we can do this. And then I will also have been read up, I will go and do the fan journey as well now, which is kind of interesting because then I'll go it from another perspective and finish The Office. I haven't, but that's not rare. I've also not finished almost every show I've ever been on. Like I stop watching it when I go in because it ruins the world, which is understandable. I can't really watch myself either, so I
Right.
think I've seen every Office episode only once.
So I'll check in and see if you've finished
Okay.
periodically and see what you thought. So we'll get something
Yeah,
else set up.
yeah, that would be great. I hope everyone's safe and healthy and just wear a mask.
You can't see. I don't think they can see our logo right now, but our logo's got like a little pair of blue
It
gloves
does.
and a mask
Oh,
on.
it
So
does. I mean, just even if you think it's dumb, it just protect your other people from you don't know. There's ace. Just wear a mask, okay? Please, please, please. Let's get out of this so we can be together. So we can
right.
be together in person. There you go. Stay healthy, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me, Adam. And
Absolutely.
this is very fun. I hope that I answered some of people's questions.
All right. So here in an hour, Hidetoshi is going to be jumping on. So make sure you come back. Well, it's actually about 45 minutes from now. So get your questions ready for him. He'll be here shortly. Thank you again, Kelen. Make sure you check her movies out that are coming out. Check out it's Girls Guts Glory, correct?
Right.
All right. So check that out. D&D. If you're not into D&D, it's the perfect time to get into it. It's awesome. So
Fun.
all right. Thanks, Kelen.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Stay